Are we good?
You're good.
All right. It is 6 o'clock, I'm told, so we'll call the meeting to order, November 5th, 2025. Do roll call, seeing that everyone is here with the council. Declaration conflict of interest, anybody that has one can do so now. See none, and before we get into the next, I want to welcome Finn to the meeting. It is Jill's son, and it is Bring Your Young Man to Work Day, and so Finn's been here most of the day and come back tonight for council, so welcome, Finn. Hope we don't scare you off too quickly. Addition, deletion, or approval of the agenda. I'll be looking for a motion to, unless there's anything.
To make a motion to accept. I'll second.
Approve the agenda. Any questions?
No.
Favor? Very. Approval of minutes, we got 3 to approve all at once. It'll be the regular council meeting of October 1st, 2025. The special council meeting, which was a budget meeting of October 14th, 2025. Committee of the whole was October 22nd, 2025, and we'll be looking for a motion to approve those 3 minutes.
I make a motion to approve.
Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Bent. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Contrary minded? Seeing none, motion carried.
Who seconded? Sorry, I missed that. I did. Oh, thank you.
Just, I knew one second.
Sorry.
Next up, presentation of council is Mr. Faulkner. See that? Just that quick.
Okay, which one am I doing?
Building bylaw and.
Okay, I
and
was just making sure you hadn't slipped
Yeah.
me into
Close
an
session.
in-camera session when I was.
No, we do have one for close,
Okay,
that's right.
making sure.
Okay, yep.
Okay, so I believe Alex has sent you, a package, and I'm actually here to pretend to be Alex as well as pretend to be me. So, I'm gonna pretend to be Alex, because that's simpler. We recommended a fee bylaw for you. And in that, you will see basically a list of recommended fees for the services that we perform. This is fairly standard, but what it will do is it will allow the municipality to essentially to recoup some of the costs of having us find folks do your services. This is essentially in line with neighboring jurisdictions, at least neighboring jurisdictions that way. We like the idea of keeping level playing fields, so that regardless of who you are, if you're coming in here to do a subdivision, you're going over there to do a subdivision, you're not having to guess at how much it's gonna cost. So I will let Alex's words. So continue on from there, but that's essentially the substance of
And everybody, council has that and seen that, and any questions on it? So where it is a bylaw, and if council went with it, can we do first reading, second reading tonight, or is that a separate?
No, I would recommend that take the month to kind of
Okay.
marinate on it. We can get it uploaded onto our
Okay. Yep.
website and then bring it back in December.
Okay,
Can I ask a simple question? I probably know the answer. The fees that are proposed are the existing fees that we're paying today
For developing,
for the uniform fees by law. Would they be what exists today when we?
that I don't know, and the reason being is that my world is building inspection,
Yeah.
so I'm not certain what the fees are for things like. Say, for example, an administrative amalgamation of properties where you have like. A property owner owns 2 different pieces of land that are together and it's going to glue them together. I don't know what the fees we would charge for that would be. Since I don't know what those fees are, I can't really answer your question.
Okay.
And that's, just for your reference, within our department, there is somewhat of a separation of church and state. So the development officer world is complex, I let them do their job. The building inspection world is complex and they let me do mine. So unfortunately, the fees part is not something that I'm familiar with.
no, I had a question on the fees too, but obviously you can't answer. Did I read it wrong when it said something like 5% on the cost of the building?
That's a building bylaw.
that's the.
Yeah.
Like
I'll
that's
speak-
huge.
I'll-
$5 and every.
I'll speak to that when we get back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was quite low.
So Yeah, so that's next.
Yeah, that I can't speak.
But,
I can just kind of high level address the fees one. It's just we don't have something in writing saying that these were what our fees are.
But
They
they're
are-
the ones that
Yes.
exist to them.
Okay.
so there'd be no changes per se to them, we're just.
No, it's
putting
just
the bylaw
normalizing
to-
everything.
To make it formalized. All right, so we'll sit on that, but everything was good, no other questions on that. Now we'll go to the next one for Vern.
The building bylaw. As you may know, you are currently, under the default provincial building regulation. What we are recommending is essentially a municipal building bylaw that would, for all intents and purposes, mirror the existing provincial legislation, letter for letter, word for word. With two exceptions. The first exception would be a time limit on the validity of permits. Right now, we've got a challenging situation in that the provincial regulation does not set a time limit. The previous one did, the current one does not. What that means is if I wander into our office today to get a building permit, that is good forever, which presents problems for things like what happens if, before I start building, the zoning changes, the code changes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a issue that the province will hopefully close, but that's not going to come into play until at least next fall, if my spies are correct. So that's the first change that we would recommend, is basically the idea that you have to start your permit within a certain period of time, and you can't really abandon a project without the permit basically being vacated. The second is somewhat of an enforcement tool, but also it's certainly valid within the scope of what is active. So basically, if somebody continues construction in defiance of an order to comply to stop work, the administrative fees for the permit are doubled. And there are very good reasons as to why this is. If we have to come into somewhere and do essentially a post-construction evaluation, it's generally going to take more time. And the reality is it's also a disincentive, if you will, for breaking the law. So those are the two fundamental changes that we are recommending within this proposed new municipal law.
Questions? No? None? And we'll go
I know
to-
St. Stephen, recently in their new bylaws. They have what they call an increment bylaw for people that are building. Basically, what they're doing now is, and say a person wants to build a house. They would build their garage and there's no time limit, they don't have to, within a year, build their house. That's what they're proposing in their bylaw right now.
Okay. Yeah, the way we
And
work,
that's for people that, the way the world's going now, it's the way I read it. Is people can't afford to go get mortgages and finish houses now.
Yeah.
They build as they have the money.
well, and the other thing is what's very common is somebody wants to build that garage to store all the tools while they're building the house.
Or to live in an apartment in the upper level.
Exactly. And I think it's important to sort of state for the record that we're reasonable people. I mean, I have some active building permits from 2020, 2021, where it's been that sort of thing. So the idea here is that it's really not something that we would do willy-nilly, if you will. It's one of those things that it's a tool that we can use if necessary.
If you would.
And the primary thing is if you've got a building where they've started construction, and an example of this, we had a building in another jurisdiction where the construction was abandoned. Essentially abandoned for a fairly lengthy period of time. And during that time, there are actually 2 code changes.
Mhm.
So the idea here is okay, you've let this go for so long, now somebody else is coming in to pick this up and finish the project. We want them on the new codes because life safety, efficiency, all those kinds of things. But I do want to caution, it's not something that comes into play very often,
Mhm.
and we understand that it takes time. I mean, for the longest period of time, I held the longest active building permit in Sherwood County. My building permit was issued in May of 2014. And I did not finish until November of last year.
Mhm.
Okay, Deanna, your question,
No, that was answered.
was it?
Oh, with the,
Okay,
I thought on the permit fees of the 5% or the 5
Oh,
or that was, I believe you were gonna speak to that, Jeremy?
Yes, so the building bylaw would incorporate the fees, and those are the standard fees across the province. And so just for your reference, it's $25 administration fee and $5 per estimated thousand of cost. And a good example of this would be, say, for example, I've got a building in St. Andrews right now. It's a 3-story, multi-level, multi-occupancy structure. I've probably done 20 inspections on it. Another good example would be, I've got a building in La Pro right now, where I believe the permit fees that were paid were $12,000. So, you know, it's the way the current provincial regulation is changing. Now, that said, again, I'm told by spies within the government that the intent is to have a fixed cost per square foot of the type of building, because the current system is imprecise. If there's a difference between, say, for example, you're building a garage and you're building a 4,000 square foot mansion overlooking the ocean. And we have to exercise reasonable discretion on what the cost of that kind of bill is going to be. And we have tools to do that.
It's cost of construction or cost of assessment?
Cost of construction. So it doesn't include things like the land, the septic system. You know, if you're a kilometer into the bush, you're looking at I think it's like $1,000 per power pole now or something ridiculous. That we don't care about. It's just what does the shell that you are building, what is that going to cost? And we try to sit back and ignore, or at least have some leeway for, I'm going to have, melamine countertops versus Italian marble. We're really concerned about basically just the meat and potatoes of it.
good.
Seems it's Warburton, but.
Well, one of the things that I would point out is when these things come up, I've had a couple of questions like this. The example that I would use is when I was first in this business, I was a contract employee for the village of Macado, and their building permits were a flat fee. And what I tried to explain to council was, because there's this thought process that if I reduce the fees, I'm going to increase construction. But what that does is the exact opposite. It devalues the value of a permit and it increases the cost of inspection. So in the village of Macadam's case, and this was back in 2017, I showed village council a picture of me walking away from a backfill inspection. And I basically said, at this point, the taxpayers of Macadam are subsidizing this construction. So you have to be very, very careful about the message that gets sent when you have different fees from everybody else. And so the point that I would make is, this is the fee that's set across the province, other jurisdictions. Everybody knows what the cost of a permit is. The cost of a permit here, cost of a permit in Macadam, in Harvey, in St. Stephen's, St. Andrews is all the same.
So that's for renovations as well.
Yes, and it's, we try to be reasonable, right? Again, if you're doing well, in some cases, like if you're doing a kitchen renovation, if you're not affecting anything structural, and you're not affecting any windows, they're more than 6 feet off the ground, we're just gonna go nuts. We don't need to know about this. If you're doing a complete kitchen renovation, and the only thing you're changing that we need to worry about is, say, a window that's above 6 feet. Okay, how much is that going to cost? We don't care about the rest of the kitchen. what comes under code that we have to look at, right?
If excuse me, if your window breaks and you're replacing it, do you have to have a building permit for that?
Maybe. Maybe.
If it's the same size.
Okay, so this gets into code geekery, and I gotta warn you that I live for code geekery.
Okay.
Now, if you wanna go to sleep, I can go for a while.
No.
But
No.
there's new codes for windows at a certain height that need to be fall prevention, basically. I can talk offline, hit me an email, and I'll spare you the pre-bedtime.
I know, I just wondered if you're replacing something and not changing it other than.
Generally, no. Generally, no is the answer. But there are exceptions.
Okay.
Welcome to my world.
Okay,
I was just gonna ask what council wishes for me to do with these
and
bylaws.
and that was going to my
Okay.
question of not to cut Vern off, but we didn't want to get into a long history of it, because they are presented as the bylaws that are there, so I guess that would be the wish of council how do you want to go forward with them?
Well, I have a little time to think about it.
So bring it back in December maybe then for,
Yeah.
for consideration.
Do you want it marked maybe for committee of the whole for discussion and then vote for? Or do you want
I'm
to
not
do it?
entirely up to council, whichever.
Would it be better to have something for committee of the whole, so that way you can have
Yeah.
a discussion or debate about it and then move it to regular council for a vote if need be, or move it?
Sounds good.
Sounds good?
Yeah, that is my action item.
So committee of the whole, perfect. Thank you, Ron. Business arising from the minutes, old business, is there anything? I have nothing on my end, but just wanted to be sure. General government, mayor's report. Report has been online, has been given. The only thing I would just say quickly is on the media release we did, on intergovernmental relationship with the province of New Brunswick. Mostly over, it's our energy file, but it's mostly over nuclear. It has been sent out to all the media. We have got traction on it. And we have meetings coming up this week and early next week with NB Power, Point Pro, and also some more media that will be coming out. So I don't want to shock anybody, but you may see some news coming out in the next few days and some national news on it.
So can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
What exactly were we asking for? Just to be in the room?
So what we asked the Minister Legacy back in June, through our briefing notes, is that yes, that anything nuclear, within Fundy Shores, that we would like to have updates. And we'd like to have a seat at the table, however that looked. We're hearing now that there's many conversations that's been happening outside of Fundy Shores that we're not even aware of, but other people in the province are. So yeah, the big thing is we wanted to be kept aware of what's going on down there, where we have the social license, and that's basically all we ask for, is just for to be a partner, to reach out to us. Give us a little heads up, and on saying that, their release that they did last, could be wrong with the date, last Friday or the Friday before, last Friday. So my thoughts on it were, we were not completely caught off guard. We were warned about it, but only a few hours in advance. They knew about it long before. We could have been given more advance warning. We could have been somebody at this table invited to that meeting, to give the presentation or to hear the announcement, or they could have done it down here. We hold the social license, but they chose to do it in Fredericton. So I'm not pleased. I don't, the premier knows where we stand on this, and so does Minister Legacy. And they can reach out at any time. The door is always open to talk, and they're choosing right now, I believe, not to. And I feel the less that we hear about it, I have great concerns of what's happened. I think that's a fair statement. So I'll leave it at that, and I'm sure there'll be more discussion, more in depth in closed session, or. But yeah.
No, it just was I just wasn't super clear what we were, so we're looking for information.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
We'd like to be kept informed and we'd like to, I guess. Hold the social license and the only nuclear plant in Atlantic Canada. For 40 some years, you would think that the relationship or a partnership would be there, that we wouldn't have to even ask to have a seat at the table, or we. That should be, they should be picking up the phone to call us, not us begging for the meeting, and right now it feels like we're begging.
yeah, because we're the first municipality, so we have to push.
We do, but we shouldn't have to. So that's, and the rest of my reports online, there was a lot in that report, or a few things that were based around that, whether it was media releases or discussions with the media. Like I said, there's more to come in the next few days, and we also reached out to the Energy Critic and the MLA, so they're well aware of what's going on, as well as their MPs. Anything further? If not, we'll go right into councilors' reports. Deputy Mayor?
Mine's online.
Okay.
I don't have anything else to add.
No problem. Councilor Beck?
Mine is online as well.
Councilor Deal? If anybody has questions on any of the reports, just jump in.
Mine was submitted online and, nothing new to add.
Councilor Thompson?
Mine was submitted as well,
Okay.
both reports.
I was just gonna ask if any of your reports, if you want me to go through them separate again, or they're all online, if you have anything to add, you can now. Okay. Perfect. CAO report to council. It was online, and any questions, or first I'll have a motion to move that report and accept it.
Make a motion to move.
Councilor Dealy moves, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Oh, I just happened to catch Deputy Mayor Sonia. Questions on the report? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Planning inspection report, planning director's report. Be looking for a motion to move that.
I move we accept the planning director's report.
Councilor Thompson moves, seconded by Councilor Bent. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Report carried. Public safety fire department report posted online as well. I'll look for a mover. Moved by Councilor Dealey, seconded by Deputy Mayor Sonnier. Questions on the motion? I see none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Economic development synergy report as well online, looking for a mover.
Move.
Moved Councilor
Yeah.
Dealey, seconded Councilor Ben.
Perfect.
I'm just getting your names mixed up there, but questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Reminded, seeing none, carried. Standing committee reports, if there's a need and everything is online, do you guys have any questions? Are they all good? And then you don't, nothing to add? That's. Correspondence received, the first one was from Help W, the postal service cuts. We had, what they're looking for is, it's not a proclamation, it's, they're asking for either an update, but for us, it would be to pass a resolution, because we don't have one. With 3 items, did everybody read those 3 items? Or did you need me to read them out? So I will be looking from council, what council is looking for in that. We either make the resolution or it's up to council. And it will be based on those 3 items.
Might need to refresh my memory.
Yeah.
So kind of
So do you want me, maybe it's best that I read them out just for the record. So I'll just read it verbatim of what's here. So I'm asking, not me, them, your municipality to pass or update your resolution to one, demand an immediate halt to the service cuts to look instead for ways to increase services and revenues in other areas, and that no mandate review takes place until Canada Post returns to stabilized operations. Two, ask the government to commit to a fully transparent public process for the upcoming mandate review involving input and hearings from all stakeholders in all regions. And three, make a written and or oral submission to the mandate review if you have the capacity, depending upon how the review is structured.
Thought they were reasonable.
No, but I mean, they pass for the resolution, they have to put those.
It's pretty straightforward. I'm not doing, I don't think it's, unreasonable what they're asking. They just want us to.
To stand behind them,
stand
basically.
behind them, yeah. I was reading the other two, about job loss and things like that.
Yeah, well, I guess we're not even standing behind them as much as standing behind the service.
I'm not giving direction, so I'm leaving it up to council to, I don't want my opinion to be, I can give.
Maybe we
an
need to
opinion.
review it a
That was
little more.
discussion.
I'm torn because we're supporting a union, which I'm not sure that we should be. A lot of the media is saying how much they're in debt. And that means our country's in debt for that as well, and we are. And if we don't support some change, it's only gonna get worse, and I don't know what that change should be. Those are my concerns about responding to.
Good call.
Well, which was why I think they're saying look for other revenue streams. Kind of get rid of the revenue streams not working. So
They've had a long time to get rid of some, look for other revenue streams, I think.
Well, one of the things they want to do too is take away kind of like home delivery, like. Go to community mailboxes, like, which I'm under now anyway, but, they wanna do that in the city as well. Everybody would go to, community mailboxes. There'd be no more home delivery, which be job loss too.
I guess so for me, I'll just give a quick little blurb, so take, cause to your point, Deputy Mayor. So take Cup W or the union title and the union stuff off of it. And focus just on the three, if they were presented by, say. Our post office here, or however that would look, of, if we were representing. Say our own post office here, or the postal workers that work in this area or our region, and look at it that way. I don't know if that helps any or not, but it may not, but just as a different. Perspective without, I guess, getting involved with the union per se.
yeah, and you wouldn't necessarily have job losses if you were into parcel delivery more, or you were into. You could just be reassigned. Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with the demand the immediate halt. It cuts the services, well, perhaps they need to look at cutting services in order to move forward, so. I don't work for them, I don't know what they're, but
Well, if I could, there is a section that asks, I mean, you could adopt one or all, but.
And
I mean, the government did commit to a fully transparent public process.
well, that's important.
I don't know, I
Because-
don't have any
because I
further
don't-
perspective of
yeah, and I
understanding.
don't think, and again, not saying what council should or shouldn't do. But if it came to that you're accepting a resolution, there's nothing in there saying that you have to adopt all three of those in the resolution. You can pick and choose what you want, no different than if we already had a resolution from a past experience. And then this would be updating it to one of those one of those three, or you can choose not to have a resolution. It's strictly up to council.
Okay, I thought they were just looking for us to send the letter off. In support. So they want us to actually have a document.
Well, have a statement of record, basically, so that you want, I'm asking your municipality to pass or update your resolution to. And I mean, they do have the 3 items outlined, but it's entirely up to council how that looks for Fundy Shores. I don't have an opinion or recommendation on it this time.
Will they discuss this more too? Or
So
should
I
we-
think there hasn't been on it.
No, there was no date listed.
Look into it more?
But for a resolution, it would have to come back to regular council, does it not?
Yes.
In
So,
December.
so it's either. It's either. It comes up at committee of the whole for discussion, but it would have to be tabled till next council meeting for a resolution. So that's up to you guys to make that
And is that too
decision.
late?
Well, I don't see no date on it, so I'm not sure. I would think that if we get a resolution to some degree, then it's better than nothing. I'm just laying out the facts for council. If you send it to committee of the whole, you can have a discussion on it, but tonight you would have to either have the resolution or have it a motion
Table.
to table it until December 1st.
Okay.
That would have to be the motion, table till December 1st, but then you can still have it on for committee of the whole for discussion.
But
So-
also.
I move we table it until the regular council meeting on December 1st.
Is that your motion?
Yes, it is.
One second.
Heard the note, oh, no. We're way ahead. So moved by Councillor Thompson to table it until December's meeting, regular council meeting, seconded by Councillor Daly. Questions on the motion?
Can we amend the um 3 items? Like, I have no problem with, look for ways to increase service and revenues in other areas. With that, with getting rid of demand.
So, right-
immediate halt.
So right now, there's a motion on the floor. But I think rather than putting an amendment on that, I could be wrong, a friendly amendment. It's just to hold that for discussion at committee of the whole and then vote on it, because you're not changing anything in this motion.
Okay.
Okay, sound good? So all those, any other questions on the motion? All those in favor, contrary minded, motion's carried and tabled till December's meeting. 2, Department of Transportation, Highway Assets Request Submissions. Everybody had that in your package. Any questions or concerns on that?
Was that Brian's?
No,
No,
that
okay,
was,
sorry.
that was the letter from DTI about the new portal online, if you have things that you want to see fixed in these.
So,
Submit.
yeah, there's no big
Mhm.
changes. It was just
Yeah.
the portals
Yeah.
and help. Everybody's good with that?
Mhm.
Okay, correspondence issued, just spoke on that. That was our statement that we released last week on intergovernmental relations with Department of Energy. And no further questions on that. 11, approval of payments, general government invoices, October 2025. I'll need a motion to accept the invoices.
Motion to accept.
Councillor Ben moved them, seconded by Deputy Mayor Saunier. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Approval of accounts expense report for October 30th, 2025. We'll be looking for a mover.
Except the report is submitted.
Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried. New business, anything? And then we will need a motion to move into closed session.
Make a motion to move into closed session.
Moved by Councillor Bent, seconded by Deputy Mayor Saunier. And we will wait for,
The next meeting.
oh, Ken, or did you want to come back out for them? next meeting. Okay. Next meetings, our RCMP meeting, public meeting is at the Fundy Bay 50+ Club, November 18th, 2025 at 6 P M. Committee of the Whole, November 19th, 2025 at 6 P M here at the Community Building. Regular council meeting here at the Community Building on December the 3rd, 2025 at 6 P M.